Everybody, Jose Perez here with Lotus Group Real Estate and committee member of the Greater Downey Association of Realtors. Very excited to be here with my co-host,
Luther Sanchez with Century 21 All-Stars. And we're very excited to bring you episode number 7 of Lunch with the Top Producer. So today we have 2017's top producer from Intero Downey,
Alex Sanchez with Intero Real Estate Services. Very excited to bring value to our members.
and we're here live coming from Cocina Distrito, and we have Mr. Kurt Kurtorsian that's going to introduce the restaurant for us.
Jorge and I are excited to have you guys, Jose, Alex, Luther, here at Cocina Distrito in our opening months here in Downey, right across the street from the Greater Downey Association of Realtors. So that makes it especially exciting. We're a modern Mexican-inspired restaurant honoring all 31 states of Mexico, including the capital, DF, Distrito Federal, which is how we got our name. So we are excited to have you here. I think you'll enjoy not only the food, the drink, but also the atmosphere. So shall we enjoy?
Yes, we will. It's a beautiful place, by the way. Really beautiful place.
Thank you so much. Bienvenidos a su casa.
Gracias.
thanks for having us. All right, Alex, thanks again for joining us. I really appreciate your time. One of the things that I got so excited about when I found out it was going to be you is that, you know, I actually saw you transition from being somebody's assistant to going on and getting your license and start, you know, spreading your wings and doing this on your own. I always tell everybody that's new in the business, get with somebody that's a top producer, and once you do that, once you learn all the ins and outs, then you go on your own instead of trying to figure out and reinvent the wheel, right? So I wanted to ask you, because you got licensed around 2006, right?
2006,
Yeah.
correct.
So what did you learn from being an assistant to that top producer when we were at Remax to going on and transitioning into your own?
What I learned the most is basically just make it about your clients. Put your clients' interests first above anything else. That way, if you make the whole thing about them, you could just focus basically on just providing the best service you can.
Nice.
Alex, thank you again for being here, sharing your time. It's great to hear the little background story between you and Luther. I didn't know that, you know, and that's what this is all about. Getting to know you a little bit better. I'm looking at your numbers, and it's amazing that you get to produce well over $350,000 in 2017. That's something definitely commendable and something for our members to kind of aspire to be at, right? So I have some questions that some of our realtors, younger realtors that are joining the business kind of had for you, and I wanted to ask a first question to you. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Perfect. First question is, what do you do different than other agents to leverage your listings to get more listings?
It's pretty simple. I'm 100% honest. Just say the truth, be transparent. Once you build that trust, you're able to just basically do your job. You know, you don't have any reservations or doubts about yourself, and you could just make it all about them and the service that you provide.
And that's how you get it to get.
Yeah, so just don't make any useless obstacles. Sometimes you kind of get mixed up with all the little details. Like, you know, it's pretty simple.
Yeah, one of the things we were talking about prior to this was a funnel that you focus on in your business, which was center of influence, right?
Yeah.
So you've been focused on that for such a long time. I wanted to just focus on that a little bit in regards to what exactly you do, whether it be prior to, in the transaction, or post-closing, that you continue to do with the center of influence that continues to feed you business.
I think I've been very successful because I've been able to, after being in the business such a long time, you know, if you just continue the relationships and you build these relationships and friendships with your clients, and you're just basically the go-to person for, you know, anything that arises. Like, for instance, I just closed a transaction last week, first-time buyer. You know, they basically went in there with just their down payment, and, you know, first week in the house, they have some plumbing issues. You know, they get a little scared because they don't know what it is. It could be something costly. I told them, you know, don't worry about it. I sent over my plumber down there. It turned out it was just something small. Basically, they just had to snake a drain. But just being for your client right there and then, instead of just like directing them to a home warranty, it makes you the guy that, you know, kind of like the hero. Like, you know, just call Alex for whatever it is. And I always tell them that they could always call me for any issues. You know, during the transaction, after the transaction, I'm always going to be there. So I think that's what's helped me. Basically, yeah.
Nice. No matter what the issue is, you take it hands-on and take care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I like that philosophy you have, because I've always told my agents that I come across is, we're not in the business of closing deals, we're in the business of opening up relationships. And the fact that you keep that open relationship with your clients and build that trust even after the transaction is why I can see that you get future business. Okay, so I have another question from one of our younger realtors that's really excited to hear this interview from you. And he asks, do you have a team? If so, how do you utilize each team member and what does the team structure look like?
Yes, so I do have a team. It's not like most teams, like where it's agents. It's basically my loan officer, my transaction coordinator, escrow, my title rep. Basically anybody that's like has any hand in the transaction, you know, I consider them my team. I meet with them often. I set the expectations that way to make myself more efficient, and I could just focus on the business, and providing the best service I can.
But overall, is you the listing agent, you the
Listing
showing
agent,
agent?
you know, I'm the buyer's agent. You know, every day you know, to me, every transaction is important. I don't just go after the listings. I don't just go after the buyers. Each one's important. A lot of my buyer transactions, you know, they're going to turn into sellers 3, 4, 5 years later. And when I first started, it was all buyers. I mean, I was like 24 years old. You know, it's a little harder to go after the sellers when you're a little younger. But I mean, it's really just in your head. And I mean, if you do a good service, they're going to come back to you. And you know, buyers turn into sellers.
Nice.
One of the things I've always admired of Alex ever since I met him was that he's like a master delegator. He's really good with that. Between everybody that's involved, keeping everybody informed. We had the pleasure of doing another deal together in August around there. And I just thought I'd ask him about his production, what he's involved with then. He had 10 escrows going. Is about to leave to Europe for 21 days. Who does that? Who does that having so much business, right? Wow. So, and he's like, he took off. So one of the things that obviously I deal with as well is, how is it that you manage within all that chaos to just keep all the business flowing? Because a lot of those closed by the time you got back, right?
Yeah, like
so you were working
closed,
while you were out
I
there.
think you probably made more money when he came back than when he spent on
He
the
sure
vacation.
did. The next month he sure did. So how is it that you manage to deal with the delegation and everything that has to just carry out and flow within the transaction?
I mean, that's you know, if you have a good team, you have a good lender. You know, lender takes a lot off your plate. Transaction coordinator. My transaction coordinator was indispensable because the time difference. It was Europe. I went to like 4 different countries. So I mean, you know, in between the planes and the airports and the time difference, lender, escrow, title, my TC was amazing. She was indispensable. And you know, if you put it in the right hands, you set your expectations. You know, you basically let them know exactly what you need, and you know, it's a lot easier that way.
Yeah,
You know,
and this is with no assistant. So
no assistant.
the lines of communication have to be extremely open with all those parties, and they have to do their part, and even a little above and beyond, right? Like you do with your clients. Awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's good to know because it's very key. You mentioned, remember, loan officer, TC is very important. Having a good escrow and title company comes number 1. So Alex, of course, every top producer has a nice strict schedule. What does your schedule look like?
I don't know about strict, but it's a schedule. It's a pretty good schedule, I think. It's pretty simple. I wake up, I work out.
What time do you wake up usually?
Between 6:30 usually. Try to be at the gym like between 7 and 8, just depending on the day, how many things I got set up. After the gym, that's when I do I do a list every night of the people I need to contact. Any urgent things that I need to get to first, I'll take care of in the first thing in the morning. Once I'm done with working out and you know do any urgent calls I have to make, first part of the day I concentrate on offers I have out for clients, listing need follow-ups. Second part of the day I prospect basically, and most of that is either going to be new buyer seller consults, just basically schedule appointments.
So how many hours do you typically spend on that? And what is it that you focus on? Is it more cold calling, open houses, door knocking? What do you see as your strength as far as prospecting goes?
So early part of the week I concentrate more on sphere of influence, basically past clients, current clients. I think I've just been very successful in building a good network of network of not only clients but also people that I work with. Let's say my plumber, electrician, HVAC, my CPA. So it's not only about me calling them, asking them for referrals. I basically call them and ask them how I could help them, and I improve their business. So I actually give them leads as well, and they reciprocate.
It's kind of a win-win relationship.
Yeah, basically.
Nice, I like that.
Is there anything that you can say you can go back to when you first got licensed that you could either do different, do the same of, continue doing?
Be more unattached. Be less attached to the outcome. I mean, in this business, I mean, in anything in life, you could only control yourself. So basically, as long as I know that I'm doing everything that I need to do, and I'm happy with myself, I know that it's good. Everything else will work out.
Nice.
Is there something that you're implementing now that you regret not implementing early on in your business? Something like you're like, man, I wish I would have done this when I first started.
A few things. I mean, time management for one.
That's the key for realtors.
Yeah, I mean, because when I first started, I was pretty young. Basically, just outworking everybody. I was, in the office early, there till late. Basically, I tried to take as much as I can every day, every work day.
All right, Alex, going back to when that transition I was asking you about in the beginning, because what's admirable is you started going up and scaling very quickly. So if you can go back, and a lot of people focus, I'm a new agent, what do I have to do? So if you can go back to when you first started, what is it that you would do differently, and what would you remain the same? And differently, I mean, like, are you exposed to listening to different things from what you're doing to what you're actually getting involved with?
Yeah, definitely. One thing that would have started a lot sooner would have been mindset. What I'm listening to, like, I really enjoy listening to audiobooks. I'll listen to audiobooks while I work out in the morning, get my mindset right. It makes the day a whole lot more productive. Other than mindset, I would say time management. Definitely time management. Yeah, because I mean, when you start off young in the business, you're single, no kids. I'd be in there early all day till sometimes even till midnight. Work weekends late, but now when you start thinking about having a family, I mean, I don't think that schedule will work too good with the kids and the wife. So definitely would work a lot more on time management. Get your mindset right. Where you're listening to, basically your sphere of influence. That's been I think the most success I've gotten from my business is my sphere of influence.
Who you surround yourself with?
Yeah, who you surround yourself with, the value that you bring to them. If you think about the value that you could bring to them, whether it be a property owner, I do really well with residential income because, I'm experienced in that, so I'm able to help them, basically new residential income property owners. I help them screen the tenants. I basically help them do the leases. Just in the beginning, because then that becomes very time consuming. Yeah. But at least once you get them pretty successful, then they're able to buy more.
Yeah.
So
it's almost like that saying: you help everybody else get what they want, and then you get what you want, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
The business, it's a business that really does test your mindset, and you have to constantly stay positive because there's so much stuff and stress that gets thrown to us on a daily basis, right? Deal not going through, or deal falling off, or dealing with agents that are not very professional. How do you maintain consistent with the mindset? Like, what are some of the audiobooks you do listen to help you kind of stay consistent with that?
One of my favorite audiobooks is called The Big Leap. That's probably my favorite. I probably listened to that one, like, not kidding, over 50 times.
Big Leap.
The Big Leap. Yeah, you gotta. It's really good. You gotta listen to that. Basically, it just talks about hitting your upper limit. A big thing that I used to have is I would, work really hard and put up 5-6 escrows, and then I'd, be like, oh, that's a lot. I'm already getting kind of overwhelmed. Like, I kind of stopped prospecting for the next one, and I would just concentrate on this one. But there's no reason. You can still concentrate on the transactions, make sure they're closed, make sure everybody's happy, and still, keep going, reaching for the next one. And then another good thing to that is, then who you hang out with. I remember Sanchez was was one of the top agents when I first started, and he
Well,
remembers.
I still am.
He still is. He remembers. I was like 23, 24 years old. I would walk to his office and be like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And like, I basically just want to kind of listen to, like, you know, how he talks to clients, you know, how he solves problems, and I would love to, like, kind of run a scenario by him just to kind of.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, and then
Well,
we,
they do say you become the average of the 5 people you hang out with.
yeah. So
Yeah, one of the few guys that actually listens, pays attention, is coachable, and then he goes and takes massive action.
That's key
Which
for the
is a
business,
secret, yeah.
guys. Being coachable is number one in this business. Would
Yeah.
you agree?
definitely.
So what are some of the goals for Mr. Alex Sanchez for 2018? What do you have set for yourself for this year?
I remain consistent, man. Just remain consistent what I'm doing, and just try to implement small things to just make it a little easier. Time management's gonna definitely be one of them. I like to set goals like every, you know, about 4 months. You know, whether it be like, you know, going on vacation, having time to, you know, spend more time with your family, little things, just like little wins.
Little wins.
Yeah.
Nice. What is your production goal for this year?
You know, I have my own kind of mindset for that. I pretty much every day I just concentrate on getting one. So whether it be like one listing consult, one buyer consult, and you know, after I get it, I keep going. I go for number 2. But I always think about it as number 1. Like just think about one. Because if you start thinking like, well, I have to have 4 buyers in escrow, I have to have 4 listings in escrow, and then, you know, you get to the end of the month, I need to have 8. And if you're concentrating on 8, I mean, then you start kind of like, you know, if you miss one, then the next month you need to have 9, and it's just easier to just concentrate on one. If you have one, even if you just get 1 a week, I mean, 1 a week is 52 a year. That's pretty good. So,
Yeah. What a way to break down the goal
Yeah.
and just make it achievable
Yeah.
and that
One.
attainable one.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
So I got to go do that one sale. But anyway, I want to thank you for your time, man. I admire you for the success that you've had, knowing you from day one, from the beginning, just watching you flourish into the awesome agent that you have. What an example for the rest of us. Great answers to the questions. So I thank you for your time, man.
thank you guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank
For
you.
sharing
Thank you very
your
much.
knowledge. As always, we want to bring some of the best from members, and I'm honestly honored to be here. I used to always hear about you, right? And we had a few deals and stuff
Oh,
like
man,
that.
thank you,
and ever
guys.
since I've always met you, you've always had a great attitude. So that's one thing that I'm noticing from a lot of the top producers. Their attitudes are great. They're willing to share.
Yeah.
They're always coachable, and that's some of the stuff that I see in you, brother. So keep doing what you're doing.
Really appreciate it, man.
And looking forward to working together more in the future as well.
Yeah.
So thank you for
Definitely.
that. Once again, we want to thank all our members that tuned in, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hope you guys got a lot of information from it, a lot of value. We also want to thank the Cocina Distrito and Kurt for allowing us to be here today. Thank my co-host Luther here.
And we want to thank you for your time and input, whatever you guys have in regards to sharing any type of critique for the videos. Our goal is to bring you guys value, all the members, so that whether you're new or experienced seasoned agents, you get some kind of value. So thank you for your time once again, and we look forward to our next episode.
Alex, thank you very much once again, and thank you to the Greater Downey Association of Realtors.
Yes.